been a fake and yet you still hating. You can't knock me cause I've been through Olympic trials of tribulations. Been on this grind and walked many miles to get this cake, and now I'm going.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries, which we're going to have to meld with what you call it. Let's call it a 3 Count Audio for now. That's a placeholder. That's just a thumbtack name. We'll come up with some other name later. Well, we have to talk about music and wrestling at the same time. So The Rock, on October, I believe, the 8th, put out a rap song, or was it the 7th, with N9ne called Face Off. The song will be in the description. I don't know how to hit the time cues, but I think it's like 3:21 if you just want to skip straight to The Rock. So this was great. So the song is by N9ne. I think it's Joey Cool and King ISO, I believe. So I think those are the 4 guys that are on the song. I don't know the other 2 guys, but I'm familiar with N9ne. So if you're a rap fan, you're like, okay, why should I ever listen to N9ne? The thing with N9ne was that he was always a very popular independent artist. Back in the days of CDs, there was very few people who were independent who were selling CDs like N9ne. Of course, it's a big deal today that almost everybody can be independent because all you got to do is get on Spotify or SoundCloud or something like that. But back in the day, in the early 2000s, it was all about selling records. And N9ne wasn't selling enough to get like a Billboard. But for a guy who was making maybe 90% off every album sold, he got rich pretty fast, and he was a pretty big deal. For some people, he was a little too demonic, face paint, very gothic in a way. A lot of talk about blood, and it was very dark music. It wasn't something that you could play in like the club, so it wasn't something that. But it attracted a large audience because it had sort of the same feel as, I hate to put him in this camp because he doesn't really fit, but it's closer to Insane Clown Posse than it is to Nas and Jay-Z, So his style, was called the triplicate flow. He called it the chopper. It's the same style as Twista and Bone Thugs and Harmony. It's very popular in the Midwest. Sometimes it's very sing-songy, like in the Bone way of doing it. Sometimes it's very aggressive, very dark, in sort of the way of the 3 6 Mafia or Twista, who kind of goes in the more gangster route. His is it's a little of both, where it's very dark at times, but his style is very good. Since I actually like that style, it was easy transition for me to get into it. So I forgot how I got into it. I think I just fell backwards into N9ne albums. But I don't have any of his CDs though. I couldn't find any of that stuff. But I did have his music on like an iPod when I had an iPod, or that kind of stuff. It wasn't like whole albums, but the albums that I did like was his album All Sixes and Sevens, and I liked his album Killer. And I'm pretty sure there's another album in there, but I just can't remember what the name of it was. Because I remember, I think KOD, King of Darkness. I like that album too. So those are my 3 favorite N9ne albums. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you need to go back and listen to all his other stuff. And I was like, well, I did, That's kind of how when I get into somebody, I listen to the things that I liked, and then I go back a little bit, see how far I can go back. And I really didn't like a lot of the other stuff. I kind of felt like it was too gothic and it was too dark. I kind of liked it when it was when he was starting to become mainstream. When he started really getting some mainstream attention. I think that's when around the time he did the song Lil Wayne. I think he was on Lil Wayne, the Carter 3, I think he was. And he was just, he just made music that was easier to get into around this time. And then, so I really am familiar with N9ne. So I was surprised that The Rock did a song with somebody who actually does highly independent music, and not somebody that would be from, that you would easily be able to get into. So the story goes that they met on the set of Ballers. This is, of course, N9ne saying, "Oh, I met him on the set of Ballers, and we had been in contact off and on ever since." He had came up with the song already. We gonna rumble, we gonna take your face off, and then he said, "Okay, I wanted somebody." He saw it, he envisioned it being played in sports, UFC, basketball, or something like that. And it was suggested to him that he get somebody from the sports world to talk on it. And since he knew The Rock, from Ballers, he sent it to him in an email. And he said, "Oh, The Rock told him he was going to rap on it. He was only supposed to talk, and just talk some shit." And ended up with The Rock actually rapping. And let me tell you, The Rock's rapping. Stylistically, it's very, very simple. You could tell that he has almost no experience rapping. Now, I know The Rock did that song with Wyclef. I think he only did the hook on that song, and that was like 21 years ago. So I think when people were like, when he said it was his first rap song, I think people misunderstood and they thought that, oh, he did a rap song before he did the Wyclef song. He's like, I don't think he just did the hook on that. On this, he actually rapped like a full verse. He spit a 16. Well, I don't even think it was a 16, to be quite honest. But the style it was very high energy. It was very motivational. It's not, The Rock is a gym bro, so his verse sounds like gym bro stuff. It sounds like something he would have done when Roy Jones Jr. was rapping. Like it felt something like that. Gym bros rap about gym bro stuff, which is taking the day by taking the bull by the horns. Come at me, I'm gonna knock you, take you down. That kind of thing. So the content of it was interesting, to say the least, because that's what I was more interested in, is how he was going to meet the flow and whether he was going to be able to provide some decent content. Well, the content is fine. You could play it in the gym. And I think N9ne, by putting it together the way he did and having the vision of saying, hey, I want to see this played in stadiums and stuff like that, I think The Rock fits that. And this works. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody picks it up, and specifically if WWE picks it up and tries to do something with it. He does it under his real name, which is Dwayne Johnson. He doesn't do it under The Rock. But everybody knows he's the fucking Rock. I mean, come on. It's always this confusion when people are like, is it Dwayne or is it The Rock? I think he does that delineation so that, it can be the delineation that everybody wants it to be, that if he does something under The Rock, then people will think that he's actually in WWE doing something, or the character of The Rock is doing it. But, he did the rap under his real name, Dwayne Johnson. And to be quite honest, I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad. I laughed because the novelty of it is what makes it so entertaining. Like, if The Rock was to drop like a full rap album, I'd probably be like, jokes. I don't know if he could do a full album, but for a novelty one-off track, this was fun. He's a better rapper than Randy Savage. That's for sure. he's a better rapper than Randy Savage. Randy Savage was not good. To be quite honest, if I was to, let's say, do a battle of the beats between this and the Hustle song with John Cena and Murs. Murs, if you don't know, is another independent artist. The beat on the Murs song is more of my style because it's Ninth Wonder. But I don't like Murs. He's boring, But John Cena on that song was actually okay. I'm going to put that song in the description too, just in case you were like, I don't know what the time code would be. I haven't heard that song in forever. But I'm going to put them both in the comment section. Not in the comment section, but in the description. So if you interested in rap, but you've never heard John Cena rap with a rapper, you can listen to that song. John Cena verse was John Cena trying to be, he was trying to be witty. He's trying to be John Cena. So he had some sort of witty lines in it. It's like John Cena took rapping a lot more seriously than most people think. Like, he didn't just drop a rap album. He actually went and did features for other people and stuff like that too. So, what a weird time it was. But it was fun. Like, the John Cena verse was fun. Him in the video was fun. He was throwing guys around in the video. So it was a good time. A good time was had by all around in the John Cena verse. And I didn't feel like it embarrassed him or it didn't embarrass rap, which is like my worst thing. My worst fear is that, when these dudes do these novelty raps, that they're going to embarrass the business of rap and then embarrass the business of wrestling. There's nothing cringier to me when rap and wrestling mix and it goes wrong. That's, it's like It's like, your girlfriend and your sister kissing. It's like, it's so weird. I can't deal with that because I grew up, I grew up with rap like a family member, and I grew up with wrestling like a family member too. So when they meet, I'm okay with it. And if it turns out all right, I'm okay with it. But when it's cringe and it's cringe very, very often, I just, put my head in my hands and just wish it had never occurred. Now, so John Cena didn't get that bad, and The Rock didn't get that bad. But I still believe that John Cena is a better rapper than The Rock. So, hey, Rock might be the one that's half black, but John Cena is the better rapper because I think he put more time in, and I think for him it wasn't just something fun. It was part of his character, so he had to be okay at it at least. He put some thought into it. I believe, if I had to make a guess, that The Rock wrote his own verse. I don't see anybody else writing that verse, so that was cool. It was all very cool, when rock and wrestling, or rap and wrestling, when these two things mix, it can be very cool, or it can be very cringe. Now, for some people, they're going to find this song to be cringy. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good song, especially since I'm familiar with Tech N9ne. It got me listening to him again, which is fine for me. But I really was there for The Rock. I did it for The Rock. And if you want to listen to The Rock rap with Tech N9ne, you can listen to that song too. In the comment section, I left a comment that gives you directly to The Rock, when you could, punch that button and it goes straight to The Rock's verse. So if you're not interested in listening to Tech N9ne at all, just go into the description or go into the comment section of the video, and it'll tell you when the Rock's verse starts. So he's the last verse on the song, by the way. So the song itself is dope. A lot of people really like it. A lot of people really enjoyed it. It's very difficult to tell if the people who are enjoying it just because The Rock is on it. But it seems like a lot of people who are fans of Tech N9ne actually does like the song. He has a very loyal following, very big fan base, and that's good. It's always good for an independent artist to have such a loyal fan base, because that's how you become successful in the independents. You have to have that loyal fan base, because you don't have any casuals. There are no casuals. Casuals is mainstream. So, stylistically, I like Tech N9ne. The other guys were too new. I don't have no opinion of them. I had never heard of them before. I don't think they were on any of the Tech N9ne albums that I had listened to before. Like, there was a time where I listened to like 3 or 4 Tech N9ne albums, and then I kind of faded off. Like, when I stopped listening to rap, I kind of faded off a lot of that stuff. So most Tech N9ne that is within the last 4 or 5 years, I probably haven't heard it, to be quite honest. And so, but the novelty of this is what got me to listen to it. And it's very interesting. And, but as interesting as it is, I still ain't forgave The Rock for his Joe Biden nonsense. And that whole thing was such an embarrassment. But, it's the same situation I had with John Cena. It's not that, that they did the things that they did. It's that I understand why they did it. The Rock's in Hollywood. What is he going to say? He only has 2 options: stay out of politics or be a Democrat. There is no third option. So this doesn't quite forgive the charade that was the thing he did with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And it's only because he made a big show of it that I was really kind of like, ugh. But so it doesn't quite forgive that, but it's a good 25%. I still feel like he got to do something bigger in order for me to get back on the Rock bandwagon. But this was dope. It was fun. He got to name drop his alcohol, Terramana, in the song. So this was fine. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Tell me what's worse than learning all that you led to believe was all horse crap. They distort, so question as if you